Hello everyone, my name is Shambhavi. Hope you all are doing well. So in the previous video we had seen that how we do the pickling for this particular one which we had made out here, right? So I had told you about the pickling, I told you about the unpickling, and we had even seen how we just do out the pickling. Now today in this video it's the turn for doing out the unpickling, right? Today we'll be performing the unpickling. So now first of all let me just give you an overview so that you can just relate this particular video with the previous video as well. So in we have what we had discussed about the pickling. So we had discussed that in Python, pickling is the process by which Python objects are converted to the byte streams. Pickling is about serializing the object structure in Python. So in Python, basically, what is this pickling? Pickling is actually a process in which the Python objects are converted to the byte streams. Okay. In the case where we just convert the Python objects into the byte streams, that is called the pickling, right? Now that is all about serializing the object structures in the Python. Now what about the unpickling? So unpickling is basically the process of retrieving original Python objects from the stored string representation, that is from the pickle file. It is the process of converting a byte stream into the Python object, right? Now basically what is unpickling? In if I just say the unpickling in detail way, so I would say that unpickling is the process of retrieving original Python objects from the stored string representation, that is from the pickle file. So here what happens that I am having a pickle file, right? Now basically the process of retrieving the original Python objects. Now we have a original Python object that we have already converted into the byte streams with the help of pickling, right? Now again getting back that Python objects in the stored string representation from the file where you have converted that into the byte stream. This process is actually called as unpickling. Okay. So if I just say that and unpickling in the very easy words, so I can just say that unpickling is the process of converting a byte stream into the Python object. So just understand it in a way that pickling is converting Python object to byte stream, and unpickling is simply converting byte stream into the Python object. This is how it actually works out, right? These are the two similar, you can just say there are reciprocal things for the pickling and the unpickling. I hope that first of all you are very much clear with both of these things, right? After that, let me just introduce you to the program as well, which we have written in the previous video. So first of all, we just want, whenever you just want to use out the pickle modules, you just want to import that out, right? So I just imported out my pickle module here. After that, I just made out a simple function. That function name was data underscore pickle. Okay. Now into that basically I just made out a variable that was items. Okay, and in items I just stored a dictionary. So every dictionary has its keys and values. So the keys which I introduced into this dictionary were Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. Okay, and the values which I introduced here were computer science, English and Python. Right, these are the keys and values which I have introduced in the both of in this whole dictionary. After that, I had taken a variable that was file underscore name. Now, what was that file underscore name was doing? So this file underscore name was actually I had put out a file name here. Let's say I just taken here that file name as information, right? So if my file is not actually made, my file I haven't made that till now onto my this PyCharm ID which I am just using. I have not made out the file, but if you haven't done that till now, so it will automatically make out a file for you from whatever the name you are trying to give out here. So I am giving here as information, so it is making that file for me, and that is basically stored in the file underscore name. After that, I made out a variable which is out underscore file, because now what we'll be doing into this one, till now I have only and only made out my file. Now my next task is to open out a file in whatever the mode I want to open. So I have opened my file in the WB mode. Now WB mode is my write binary mode. So because I would just want to write something onto that particular file which I have made. So I have just opened it in the WB mode. After that, with the help of pickle.dump function, I have added these things into the file which I have made. So I have added my whole of the dictionary which I have made into the information file, and simply I closed and I just called out my function and print out a printer statement. Right? This is what I just did in the previous video. Now I'll be making out a function, and that function what it will be actually be doing, it will actually help me for unpickling of my data. So I could just write here, unpickling I could just write here data underscore unpickling. Okay, that is pickling, just something like this, right? So with the help of this function, what I would be doing is that I would be unpickling out my the previous one which I have only actually pickled, that is converted my Python object into the byte streams. Okay, now I'll be just converting my byte streams again into my Python object. So what is the file name which we have taken? So variable first of all which we had taken was file underscore name, right? This was a variable which we have taken number. So variable and file names, everything will absolutely remain same. That will not at all change in both of the functions. Okay. Either we are doing pickling or unpickling, that doesn't matters, but file will not change. File name. So I just put out the file name here, that is information that I have actually used here for making out my file and storing out whatever the things I have just written on above. I just store all of those things into this particular file. Okay. After this, now how to open out that file? So for opening the file, I could just simply give out a name here as file. Okay. Okay, above I had just written out underscore file. Here I could just simply write file underscore out. Okay, so here this variable, now what it will do, it will actually open out my file for me. So open. Now what is the variable in which I have stored my file name? So that is file underscore name for me. So I just put on that thing here. Right now, after putting out a comma, now I just only and only want to read out the things which I have into this file. Now I do not want to write, because writing part is already performed by the pickle function. Right, that has already been performed above in the pickling part. With the help of that dump function, this already has been performed. Now I just want to open my file into the read mode, because now I only and only want to read out whatever is there into that particular file. I just want to read that out. Okay, so open file underscore name, and here I could just write the mode, and that is for me RB. Now R is for the read and B is again for the binary mode. Okay, because what it is doing, it is converting the byte streams into the Python object, right? So I would be just opening this file into the RB mode. Coming to a new line, I would just use here a new variable, that is data underscore new, let's say. Okay, now into this what I would just do, I would just pickle dot load, and into the bracket I would be writing out the file underscore out. Now what this line actually meant, which I have written here right now, so I just made out a function here. Now as we had used the dump function above for adding something onto that file, in the same way we are using out the load function for reading the whatever is written into that file and printing me as an output to me. So in that case, we are using the load function, right? So pickle.load. Pickle is my module which I have already imported above, right? This is that particular module. Load is my function which will help me to load out the data, load out the data which is into my file. And file underscore out, why I have just put out this variable here, because a file underscore out is only the variable in which I am opening my file in the RB mode. So we need to just tell it that, okay, which is the way where you are opening your file, and what's the mode where you're opening, and all those things. Okay, so this is how we just do those things. Now after this, what's the next thing? I will be simply closing out my file. I would just write file underscore out dot close. Okay, this is how we just closed out my file. Now after this, I could just simply write here return, and I could just simply write return, and I could just write here data underscore new, right, into my, because I have used out my function, so inside that I could use out the return statement, return data underscore new. Okay, data underscore new is the variable in which I have used my load function with the help of the pickling module to do these things, right? So that is pickle.load, and into the bracket it is file underscore out, so return data underscore new. Right, now basically after this I could simply use out my print statement. Now what is that print statement used for? Now inside the print statement I would be calling out my function. Now why I would be calling that function inside the print statement? Because I want to print all of the data which is into that particular file as an output for me. So whenever we just don't want to do that particular thing, we use the print statement only. If I simply call out my function, so in that case it will not at all return me the data which is into that file. So if I just want to do the same thing, so in that case inside my print statement I want to call out the function. So my function name was data underscore unpickling, and I would just put out the bracket like this, right? Now if I just try to run out this program here, so now just have a look here, that first it is giving me that pickling is done, right? So why it is giving me? Because here I just used print pickling is done. So for the first pickling one, data underscore pickle function, it has actually performed the pickling for me. Now after that, when I just unpickle the same data and just printed out that print data underscore unpickling, my function calling I have done inside the print statement. Now it is printing me all of the data which we have into this particular function, into the in this, like whatever data we have added onto that file, it is showing me all the data. Monday is computer science, Tuesday is English, and Wednesday I have Python. So, right, this was the data which I had actually written on my own as well, right? Let me just go above and show you that thing. So yes, this was the one which I have written into this items as well, right? This was the one. So it is giving me that whole extracted data. And in the previous video, I had already shown you that how, if we just open the information file, so how that data will actually appear there, right? So I hope that you are very much clear with this, that how this pickling and unpickling is done here, and basically how to achieve pickling and unpickling, right? So I hope this thing is very much clear to you, that how we do the pickling, how we do the unpickling, what are the definitions for this, and how to do out these things, right? So this is all for this video. Till then, thank you and take care.